Thanks for popping in. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell if you find this content helpful, and you'll be notified of the next video release. You can also check out my website, consultingninja.tech, where I've compiled loads of free resources available to browse. With that out of the way, I wanted to talk about forms, some of the misinformation I see about forms, and I also wanted to give you guys, show you how to use a built-in Chrome developer tool to help you understanding the re-renders in your application. So let's get right to it. The first thing I want to talk about is some of the really poor practices that I see people implementing when it comes to forms. I have implemented this basic form. Before I get into it, I will also point out this code is available on my GitHub, Consulting Ninja. Feel free to check out those repositories there. So I have a basic form that has some fields. Let's look at what the code looks like. Let's add a nice little an H1 in here and say forms. So the problem that I have with this is very basic, and you would see this in a lot of places. I've seen this on a few channels, and I've seen this in some blogs as well. We have separate labels and inputs, and each of them is a controlled piece of state. I've improved this actually slightly in that rather than a separate piece of state for every single field, I have one piece of state that is an object, and each property of that object corresponds to a separate field. And then I've got a handle change that is updating the state off of the previous one by pulling out the property name and putting it here, and then the value and putting it there, and then setting the state that way. And you can see that if I open this up, let me point out the handle submit. So this is another thing I see. The button being used is not a submit button, it's just a button, and we're passing that into a submit function. And here I'm just console logging submit. And you can see here when I enter in some information and go to the console and hit submit, that it is in fact submitting the form. However, this is not good. First of all, we have to keep in mind that at the end of the day, when you strip away all of the programming from this, what we are doing is designing HTML documents. And this is not proper HTML. If you are going to be providing a user with a form, it needs to be wrapped in an HTML form element. So that's number one. We need to be focusing on not overlooking, rather, that the end result of what we're doing is HTML rendered on a web page. So for that reason, I don't like this setup. I also do not like having all this extra stuff. Okay, none of this is really necessary. We're not typically going to be doing validation on every keystroke. Now, there are people that argue that this causes additional renders. I will get to that. That's actually not true. I'm going to show you guys. So let's take a look at that now. Every time you press a key right now, it's updating state. So let's go take a look. And this is the other tool I want to show you guys. So when you have your console open on a Mac, hold Shift, Command, and P, and start typing render. And select this show rendering drawer, and now on the bottom select paint flashing, and you can see that this is highlighting every time it repaints an element. Okay, so every time that it flashes green, it's because the browser is repainting that element. And so here I can type, and you can see it's repainting that field, and it's also repainting the labels, but not repainting the inputs. So that is what's happening as I'm typing in that field. Okay, that's the re-renders that are happening there. Now let's change this. You could add a use effect, and I will let's do that. Because there's going to be people that say, well, it's not really effective because the use effect is not there. However, my argument there is that when you do this, you're literally telling your code, I want this to rerun. So you're kind of inviting that on yourself. So let's add that use effect in there, and let's go see. Say, no effect. Let me put a console.log in there, and so you can see use effect triggered. Save that. Let's go back and use effect triggered. And you can see the same stuff is still being repainted. There's nothing additional being painted. It's still the same amount of stuff being painted. Now let's go make my changes. So I suggest that the proper way to do a form, and the easiest way, and I'm going to tell you why, is to get rid of, let's get rid of this use effect. We don't need that. Let's get rid of this state. We don't need it. Let's get rid of this import. Don't need any of that. Get rid of all the state. We're not doing anything with it anyway. Let's get rid of all these handle changes and values. Get rid of every single one of them. And one more. Now let's make this button a submit button. Submit. And in our form, let's do an on submit, and we're taking the event there, and we are just going to do, let's do brackets, guys, because we want to do an e prevent default, because we don't want our form data to be spilling out into our URL. So if that has happened to you, this is how to fix that. So if you don't put this in there, when you hit submit in your application, the values from your form are going to spit into your URL up there. So to stop that from happening, you add this e.prevent default, and then we want to run our handle submit and pass it the event. Okay? And now we can get rid of this handle change. And inside, let me just look at how much cleaner this is. We have properly formed HTML now because we have a form that's actually inside of a form. Our button is a proper form submission button. So screen readers are going to know that, hey, I'm in a form, and here's the submit button. And our file, for the next developers, looks cleaner. If you need to do validation, you can certainly do that here. And all of your values are available in the e.target.name.value. So you can pull them out and do whatever validation you'd like there. We should be using all of the validation available to be enforced by the browser. What I mean by that is use the types. Okay, so make sure if it's a text field, make sure the type is text. If it's not a text field, if it's supposed to be a number, use the number. If it needs a min, you can add that in here. So if the minimum is 0 or the minimum is 1, put that in here. If a field is required, use the required prop. That's what it's there for. So these are things that they've already been developed. You don't have to recreate the wheel. Use the props that are available on the inputs for a certain amount of validation. A lot of the bare bones stuff you don't have to do yourself. Don't take on that work when you don't have to. Use the ones that are already created for you, and they've already worked the bugs out. And again, this will lighten the load because these are enforced by the browser. And let's save this and go take a look at our re-renders, and you can see that the same exact stuff is being repainted. There's nothing additional, nothing less. So for me, I think this is the way to go, but I think it for different reasons. I don't think that you're saving yourself any re-renders because, as I just showed you, that's not the case. But it certainly makes a much cleaner file and is much more straightforward on top of being properly formatted HTML. So there's my 2 cents on forms for the day. I hope that you guys have found these little tidbits helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe. Comment below with any topics you'd like me to cover next. Check out my website, consultingninja.tech, and enjoy the rest of your day.